Today I've got another pair of Canada West Moorby boots to talk about. This model is the 2832, which is their lace-to-toe model, or what some people might refer to as a monkey boot. And I just wanted to share my initial impressions. There's not a lot of information out there on Canada West boots, so hopefully this information and some of the close-ups will help you if you're trying to decide on whether or not to buy a pair of these boots. They're built on a Vibram Christie wedge sole, which I've shared some thoughts on in another video, but overall provides decent grip. I find it to be a comfortable outsole to walk on and can be nice and flexible once it gets broken in. There's a little bit of contrast there with the slip sole, which I think adds a bit of visual interest. 360-degree Goodyear welt with a flat welt. The upper is the same leather as my others. It's a pecan tumbled leather, which is from a tannery in Mexico, and it's a chrome tan leather that then goes through a process where they pack it in with oils and waxes to make it more water resistant, more resilient, and it is a really nice sturdy leather. I've had my other pair now for a few months and they're breaking in so nice. The leather is very resilient. You can take it out on your hikes and running into rocks and roots and logs and all that, and it will hold up really well. There is, as you can see, contrast stitching, which I really like the look of here. The stitching's all really well done, nice and straight, no loose ends anywhere. The pictures when I saw some of the pictures online, I thought, man, there seems to be something right here where the quarter gets sewn on. It looks like there are some issues in the photos online, but my pair there are not. That's all really well done, looks great, done well. And the back strip, again, like my previous pair, has that really nice curvature. I think that really helps these boots stand out from others in that heritage boot sort of realm. And you can see with the contrast stitching and that double row of stitching just how nice it looks. Really stands out. It's really well done. It's the kind of thing that if it's not done just right, it's going to look really bad because of that contrast stitching, but they've done it just perfectly. The tongue is partially gusseted, and as with my others, it's that thinner, cheap leather, so that's something to be aware of there. It kind of stands out from the rest of the boot because the rest of the boot is really solid, nice quality, and then unfortunately the tongue is just that thin leather. I do like that it's got this tag sewn on here, the WM Moorby, handmade in Canada. That's really cool, I like that. It's got 7 eyelets and 2 speed hooks. I love the speed hooks, I find them to be very convenient. And it's also got this Canada West Boots logo embossed in the leather, which not every model will have, so I like that on these. In terms of fit, it's important to note that these are a triple E. So as mentioned in the previous video, all the Moorby boots are a wider width. There is one boot available in a single E width, which is more of an almond shaped toe. And I think if you're a standard width, that the single E would be just fine. I don't think you'd have any issues. You wouldn't be sliding around. You will need to go down in size, and they do fit long and wide as well. I'm a 9E verging on double E Brannock measurement. In my previous pair, I went down half size to an 8.5 double E. These I also went with an 8.5, and it's a triple E, but I don't really notice any difference in the width between these and the double E. I notice a difference in the height of the toe box, so there's a little bit more room there in terms of the height, but everything else feels like it fits pretty similar. And these ones, the facing, the quarters are cut back a bit more, so it's not, you're going to be able to tighten down. If there is that little bit of room, you'll be able to tighten down, because even tied up, they still stay, a couple inches apart. So I think design-wise, that was really smart, having a wider boot there where it's going to be able to stay open that little bit more. So fit-wise, definitely a half size down, even if you're a wider foot. So I'm a wider foot and still had to go down half a size. There are people that have to go down a full size if the length will still work. On the Herbert's Boots website, there is a size chart so that if you know your foot length measurement, you can compare it to the chart and it will let you know what size will work in terms of length. but you'll have to decide based on the width which model will work for you, because each boot is only available in that one specific width. So for example, the 2832 is a triple E boot. You can't get it in a double E or a single E. The 2801s that I have are a double E, and you can't get those in a single E or a triple E. So you have to look at which size and width you need and then pick based on which boots are available in that width. So that's definitely something to consider. Feel free to comment, and if you have any sizing questions, I can do my best to help. You can also, I called Herbert's Boots where I bought them from, and they were very, very helpful over the phone with sizing. They own a variety of different brands themselves and have worn them, so they can tell you, you know, compared to a Red Wing, how they will fit and what size you are in those types of boots. So that can be very helpful as well. But overall, I'm really impressed with the quality of the construction. These are going to do really well, stand up to any of the wear that I put them through. They're unlined, should mention that. The other pair I have are fully lined. These are unlined, so I think as a year-round boot are going to do well. They'll keep a little bit cooler in the warmer months. They also, like the other boots, they have that, from what I've been able to find out in forums, a pour-on sole that is sewn to a leather or a piece of leather. So it's not a leather insole, but it does have a top layer of leather. So that's not my preferred insole. I do like just a solid leather insole, but that's not an option for these boots. And I think at the price point, you know, these are 250 Canadian dollars. So what you're getting for that is just incredible value. But there are some areas like the leather being from a tannery in Mexico, the pour-on insole. I think those are the two areas. Everything else is really incredible, and the, you know, made in Canada, really high quality construction, where they're able to provide a product of this quality at this price range is by having that leather from a Mexican tannery, and then also that pour-on insole. So there are things to consider, but having put my other pair through some really hard wear for a few months, now that I can see how well they've done, I really have no concerns at all. I've been impressed with how the insoles conform to my foot, and it is more firm than other pour-on insoles that I've experienced, so no issues there. And the leather, like I said, has done really well, can take a beating, and is ready for more. So that is the Canada West Moorby 2832 lace to toe. Let me know if you've got any questions. I'd be happy to chat about it and provide any other details that I may have missed. Thanks so much. So as I was watching back some of the video footage from this boot, I noticed a couple of things that I didn't notice about them when I was just kind of looking at them, holding on to them and that sort of thing when I first got them. So that's one reason why I really like going to YouTube for product videos, is just to see the products in different light, different angles, different people looking for different things. And so it was kind of neat to experience that, to see my view of them when I first got them, and then to look back and see the video and go, oh man, I didn't even notice that when I was holding it right in front of me. So a couple of things that I just wanted to add, and then I figured, since I'm doing that, I might as well wear them a little bit and break them in, and then share what that experience has been like as well. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to do it this way. One of the things that stood out to me at first was along this row of stitching here, you can see the guide marks from the sewing machine. So it's really subtle, and you kind of have to look closely, and it was just when a certain light hit it as I was turning the boot in the video. But definitely something to be aware of. It's not going to cause any structural issues or anything like that, but I have seen some people that that's really something they look out for in terms of when the uppers are sewn together, that they don't like to see the any of the guide marks or anything that have been left from the sewing machine. So that is there. It has also, as I've worn them, gone away on certain parts of the boot where it was, and then as the leather is just kind of flexed as I've been wearing them. It's naturally kind of worked itself out. So I don't think that they're going to be there forever, though. They are very surface level. So as I wear them, and then probably the first time I do like a big clean and condition, I bet you 99% of those marks aren't going to be there anymore. But I did want to point that out because it is something that I had noticed. And the second thing would also be somewhat related to this row of stitching, but I was watching the video back, and when I was talking about the back strip and then mentioned the boot was unlined, and I started to think, well, how can you have a back strip instead of the heel stay if it's unlined? So these are mostly unlined, but along where this row of stitching is here, there is a lining sewn just in that portion of the boot all the way around, and then the heel counter is between those layers. So the quarters and then that layer that's just around the base of the boot, there is the counter in there. So that was another thing that I noticed from the video that I thought, oh, as I was looking at the boots and talking about them, I didn't even think of it, but figured I should mention that as well. So they are still unlined up here around the ankles, so they have been nice and cool. Even on some of the hot days when I've had them out hiking, I've stayed nice and cool around the ankles. In terms of breaking them in, these have been incredibly comfortable, even more so than, so my Red Wing mock toes are on the Christy Wedge sole, and like I mentioned, comfortable sole to walk on, but these have been remarkably comfortable throughout the whole process. It's been breaking in nicely. It's become very flexible at that breaking point. I'm really, really impressed with the comfort of these boots. The leather has a really nice pull-up quality that my 2801s, I haven't noticed it. I've worn them way more, and I haven't noticed it as much as I have in these. I've taken these for probably around 10 sort of really long, arduous hikes, and I'm noticing in a lot of the places here where the leather has started to crease, there's some really nice pull-up, and I'm really enjoying that quality of the leather. I have noticed a bit more of the width now that they've worked in a bit more. It's still not extreme when you're comparing the double E to the triple E, but it is there. But as mentioned, because this facing is cut back a bit wider, you still have the ability to tighten down, and they still do fit well. So if the double E fits you well, you're not going to have an issue with the triple E, but you will notice it. But it has been a very comfortable boot through that process. I had a couple of spots where, because they're just a slightly different height than my other boots, of course, that it's wearing on a part of my just above the ankle where others haven't, but nothing really concerning there. So yeah, just a couple of things to point out, and then the breaking process has been really great. Boots are looking really nice as they get some creases in there and a few scuffs and all that. So overall, still incredibly pleased with the quality and the construction of them, and definitely happy with how they feel now that they've been broken in and are a very comfortable hiking boot. Definitely will use these a lot more as I'm going through the trail. So that is the Canada West Moorby 2832. Some initial product shots, and then some thoughts and close-ups of them after, about a month, and day-to-day wear, but then also about 10 really heavy hikes that have really tested these things out to see what they're made of. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, and I'll get back to you. Thanks so much.